And I think that's why the cargo bike segment is picking up so quickly, is because
so
once you get into it, you want everyone to experience it. It's like, no, guys, you're doing it the old way.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like that. Oh, no, I'm not going to drop you.
You did it.
We made it.
We did it.
Beautiful day here in Prospect Park. Look at the orange on the trees.
It matches the HSD.
So maybe we should get into talking about how we met. Yeah.
We met at Eurobike, right?
I thought it was really cool that we both had a similar background with bikes, not being bike people, but now using bikes to transform our cities. And a large part of me felt insecure in being in the bike industry without having a bike background, or not necessarily even a huge bike passion at the time. My passion lies in efficiency and transportation, and I happen to see that bikes are the most efficient way to get around anywhere, cities or suburbs.
I totally relate.
I think it was a natural kind of friendship that evolved from that conversation. Your story was similar.
My story was really similar.
Yeah.
I took the reins at Offbeat Bikes, which is my shop in Chicago, in 2022 as a former customer. When the opportunity came to take over at the shop, I jumped at it. I was always a little jealous of the founder's job, but I was never a bike person before that either. In terms of like cycling daily, that was never really my thing. So my joke is that I jumped right into the biggest possible bikes on the planet, and I've never looked back. But I've just found in the city, it makes so much sense. It's more fun. It's faster. And I'm happier. My 6-year-old, anytime we have to go in a car, he's really pretty miserable, and he's begging for the bike. I've only lived in New York City and depended fully upon cargo bikes for a couple months now, and after the first month or so, he was all in right away.
He was a convert.
That's amazing. Yeah, I have kids of really similar ages, which is also really fun. I have a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old. I still shove them into a cargo bike at the same time. They can still fit. We connect in a different way in the bike than we do in the car. We always have music going, always pretty loud, so people on the sidewalk will just smile.
My husband, who is a former radio DJ, he jokingly said, he's like, you know, I don't really care about the tech specs of these bikes. He's like, I care about where I put my speaker.
More and more I see people who are just interested in what the bike can do for them as an addition to their life.
A lot of the marketing and our marketing sort of changing to that as well. It's moving to, how is this a tool, and what can it do for me? What can it do for my family? What can it do for my city? I never run into bike traffic. And if I do, like, the bike is, even these big cargo bikes, it's big enough to go around wherever the traffic is. Like, and I do. Like, I'm never limited by the person in front of me. It's a freedom.
It's a freedom. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. These trees are so fucking beautiful.
I know.
Squirrel! I looked at cargo bikes initially and just thought, what the hell is that? Like, it was very foreign to me. I hadn't been to Europe before. My brother, who was Propel's founder, had been to Europe, had been convinced that these bikes were the future, this was transportation, and this was how cities and places were just going to change and evolve to include cargo bikes. And to be honest, living in a suburb, I really did not totally see his vision until he convinced me to get a cargo bike.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why I even said yes. At first, I was very uncomfortable. I felt like people were looking at me. It was strange for my environment. And it didn't take long before I was like, wait a second, none of that matters. I am on the coolest freaking piece of technology that exists in my little town. Riding in the Keys, there's some crazy drivers down there. Not very many protected lanes. There is a bike path, which is frequently used as a passing lane, which is not fun. And it's scary, especially when I have kids in the front of my bike. I would ride to and from school, which was sometimes 9 miles. I'd ride on the sidewalk a lot of the time. It's not that I wanted to do that, but I wanted to ride my bike, and I wanted to do it in a safe way. And that's the way that
Yeah.
existed there. I did notice that more and more people started doing it.
And it's always a chicken and egg problem. It always is.
Yeah.
And in some communities like that, it sometimes just takes one trailblazer. At a particular school community, it takes one person finding their way to a cargo bike and doing it on a daily basis or most days. And then it just spreads.
I've had countless people come into the shop after a trip to the Netherlands, their first time, and say, hey, I rented one of these bikes in the Netherlands and now I want to own one.
Yeah, there's something so powerful about seeing someone else who has such a similar life as you do, like choosing a different way of moving through the world. So many people I know where they have a friend who discovers a cargo bike.
Right.
In those cases, it really is less about the tech or the specs.
Yeah.
Although I can geek out about that all day long, it's just less about that, and it's more about, oh, I see this other person whose kids go to the same school as me, and they're always whizzing past me in the drop-off line, and they look like they're having a great time. And meanwhile, I'm in the car, kind of angry at the world.
Right.
I want what they have. How do I get what they have? So something about seeing it in practice is really transformative for planting the seed, at least.
Our cities are a perfect example. If you see a particular cargo bike, you see one of them on that specific street, next thing you know, there's multiple on that same street, same bike. I have a customer who emailed me and said, here's my neighbor's information. I want them to buy a used Urban Arrow. Do you have any information on it? And that's what happens. And I think that's why the cargo bike segment is picking up so quickly, is because once you get into it, you want everyone to experience it. It's like, no, guys, you're doing it the old way. It doesn't have to be like that
It feels like magic. That's the best word I know.
If you talk to, I want to say any New Yorker, but I know there are some that do choose to drive. And I had this thought of like, why? Why would anybody choose to drive? And for me, even in my suburban town, I chose to drive not realizing that it was incredibly inefficient. I started counting the people that were sitting in the cars next to me as I was zipping by, and I was like, holy crap, like I beat all of them in getting to my destination. And when I realized that, I'm like, driving a car just actually doesn't make sense. Personally, I am a lover of all initiatives supporting transportation and bikes, but I'm not somebody that doesn't think the car should not exist. I do believe there's a use for it.
The interesting piece is just like, we don't have to turn to the car first for every trip.
Right.
Particularly in urban environments.
The more that bikes evolve, the less I think we'll see a need for it. I became convinced of the bike when all of my car trips were, which one is going to get me there faster? I'd literally take my phone out and see, okay, does the car get me there faster or the bike? And then when I realized the bike did, I also was like, kind of willing to risk my life to ride my bike, which is another topic. Like I found it to be that beneficial in my life that I was like, okay, probably going to be the most morbid thing I would say, but if I happen to die from poor infrastructure, maybe my death would be the reason it changes, and that would be okay. Not the greatest thought, and that's part of why I am somewhat involved in some advocacy and infrastructure conversations, because what type of thought is that? But I know there are a lot of people that have found this way of getting around to be just the same.
Infrastructure in Chicago is improving. You all are several years ahead of us here, but we have 100 miles of bike lanes is the latest big press release.
Oh, that's great.
More and more of them are protected. It tends to start and stop throughout the city, which is a pain point for a lot of people. They'll be on a well-marked bike lane or a nice protected bike lane that then just disappears. So sometimes, depending on where you're heading, you have to piece together a route to feel the safest. If you travel to Chicago and come to the 606, the Bloomingdale Trail, it's sort of like the High Line here in New York City.
Oh,
it's an old train track that they have converted to a pedestrianized and car-free bike thoroughfare. Sit on the 606 in the morning, so many bikes. You'll lose count so quickly.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
the city is seeing that if they build it we will come. So it kind of depends on what neighborhood you're in, but our infrastructure is better than it used to be, and we have a long way to go.
Right.
But I'll celebrate everything we have.
I think the most important thing is experiencing it. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to design a city, I don't think you should do that without having ridden bikes around New York City for at least a week.
Right.
Spend a week in New York City, commute by bike, and then realize we need to do this, or we need to do this. This is what works.
Looks like it would work on paper, but doesn't actually work in practice.
Yeah.
So I did used to live in Brooklyn, but this is my first time riding a bicycle through Prospect Park.
Oh, wow.
I didn't bike when I lived here. I maybe took 1 or 2 city bike rides.
Yeah.
And I was pregnant and I had a newborn. That's my excuse. There are so many more bikes on the street now than when I lived here 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's a testament to your infrastructure, to your city investing in it. I biked to Propel from my hotel this morning on a protected bike lane almost the entire way. It was fantastic. It feels so wonderful to bike on a protected path in particular because you can have a bit more of the enjoyment because those extra risks,
You're not
sharing
worried
the street
about
with car traffic, you're just not worried about that so much. So many cargo bikes. It's just been such a surge in recent years everywhere, but in particular in the cities that are taking infrastructure seriously. I think that's the message I would give to like the urban planners and the city officials is it connects your city in a different way than car infrastructure does, or even transit infrastructure does. It's a more human scale transportation. And so you do feel more connected to your neighborhood, to your borough in a way that you just don't in other modes of transportation.
We see so many moms come into the shop who haven't been on a bike in so many years. They're like, I don't know how to shift. I don't know how to balance, or to be able to give them like the little tricks and tips that I experienced from having to go through it myself or learning about riding on New York City streets. Like
I always hope when people find their way to us, and I think you do this really well too, they can feel disarmed to ask those questions.
Yes,
those questions that feel a little embarrassing, like they'll like whisper it sometimes. What's downshifting?
Yes, exactly.
And when do I do it? I feel like in that moment, I have like achieved a level of trust with that person, particularly if it's someone new that I've never met before. I try really hard to demystify a bicycle. It can be a complex machine in some ways, and in other ways, it's a really simple machine.
Maybe we should talk a little bit more about the barriers, security challenges. I would say the biggest question that people have when making a sizable purchase like a premium cargo bike. It's not a perfect solution, but it's pretty close, which is just multiple locks.
Yeah.
And then an insurance policy. There's several insurance carriers out there that cover full bike replacement, and they're quick. And then in our store, if that is to happen, we're working on getting a fully set up loaner program. We have it kind of halfway launched right now, but because it's transportation and these are premium products, and I at one point owned a premium car, and the experience is, here's a loaner. If you drop it off for service, here's a loaner. And we want to be able to provide that to everyone that comes into our store for whatever reason. Yeah.
And it gives them just like the peace of mind that the vehicle that they're relying on
is still reliable, even when it's in for service.
Exactly.
The smart system now by Bosch has security features and tracking. And
trackers are a game changer.
There's programs like the 529 Garage, Project 529, that you can track your bike and just have it registered. If it does pop up stolen, you'll get a notification.
Storage space top of mind for people to figure out where the heck they're going to put this thing once they've fallen in love with it, or maybe limiting what they can fall in love with for themselves based on their storage space, which is like, there are lots of options. So it's ideal if you can keep your bike inside, but it's not always possible.
Right.
And we can work around that too.
I think in New York City, I'm almost positive it's since 2015, all new buildings were required to be built with bike parking inside. Also, Unipods are popping up. It's bike parking and it's on the street and it's secure. There's a lot of solutions out there. It's just kind of piecing them together. And weather. So perfect timing we just went through a little bit of a wind gust. I happen to have 4 layers on.
I may have frozen fingers by the time we're done.
It's kind of the same saying as like there's no bad weather,
Right.
just bad gear.
Right.
My hands are also cold because I don't have gloves on. And then even with the kids in the bucket, this is a question we get a decent amount. Like there's blankets that are made specific for riding on the back. I think Lark blankets is one of them. I think it's an independent sort of Etsy type shop. There's blankets you can throw in the front of the bucket just right off your couch or
The kids are sturdier than you think they're gonna be.
I know. My
just
kids
are.
will not wear a jacket.
No,
I'm like, kids, it's
especially
cold.
the preteens.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're really only
Like
wearing
jackets
that.
are cool. They are.
Yeah.
They're cool. There's full on rain gear. All of the bikes that we sell that are for carrying cargo do come with weather protection.
Yeah.
On the turn bikes and on the multi-tinker, multi-charger, the weather protection serves as storage. And many of our customers use it as storage all year.
Basically, if there's a barrier that's in your head about how to carry your kid on a cargo bike, we've got you covered.
And,
we have
really
personal
not,
experience.
that's what it is. It's experience. Yeah. I want to see the industry survive.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at the barriers. What are the barriers for the independent dealers to stay in it? There's other companies that are coming in that are potentially causing challenges for independent shops, and the independent shops are so needed. There's not many. There's maybe 6, no more than 10 in the country that are doing what we're aiming to do or doing. And with those, it's all the same process. It's hey, like these things have transformed our lives and we want to share that with you. And here's how we're doing it. But like we do want people to know what the experience is going to be like coming into the store, coming into any of the premium cargo bike shops where you're going to feel cared for, you're going to feel listened to. It's going to be an experience that you're probably even going to remember. You're going to tell your friends about it.
You won't be talked down to.
I'm working on having everyone introduce themselves and get to know your name, because if you're interested in these products at this point in the game, you've got to be kind of like an outside the box thinker.
Right.
And
that's
so
what I love.
There's a commonality between the people coming into our shop and everyone who works in our shop. I think my butt might be frozen.
I'm not sure what's frozen exactly.
I don't know either.
My elbows are cold, which is so weird. Well, thanks for having me, Kat. This has been so fun. I loved being back in my old stomping grounds a little. Seeing your shop up close and in person was so enjoyable. It felt a little bit like home.
It's been a pleasure having you and riding around with you and getting to know you more, hearing your story and how bikes are changing the way Chicago moves as they are in New York. If you're ever in Chicago, even on a visit, check out Offbeat Bikes. If you live in Chicago, definitely check out Offbeat Bikes. They offer rentals and sales and service and community and fun, kids stuff, all the things. Definitely worth checking out Offbeat. Thanks again for coming. Bye.